I hope you're doing pretty well today. We have the Nintendo Partner Direct. According to Nate the Hate, he theorizes that the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Switch 2 port will be announced today. I don't know how true that is, but it will be interesting to see. Oh yeah, we need to share our link on the terrible place. Let me do that really fast. Um but yes, as you can tell, I just woke up. And yeah, so I guess that's the state of any of us who are in like the US right now. I think is if you guys are in Europe, you guys are like at least 5 hours ahead. So it's probably a really comfortable time for you guys. But for those of us in the US, it is right now 7:49. So very quiet. Oh, really? Okay, hold on. Give me one sec. Okay, how is that? I had to because we changed over to OBS from Streamlabs. I had to change some settings, fix my lighting here, and then also I guess we can pull up the direct stream. They already have a thing going. 1 second. Nintendo Partner Direct. There we go. And then let's share our link. Live with the Nintendo Partner Direct. Also, how is my audio good now, by the way? Do I sound loud enough? Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah. Live with the Nintendo Partner Direct. Come and join us. But anyway, I hope you're all having a good morning. But yeah, interesting to see if we're gonna see any good Switch 2 ports. I still haven't purchased my Switch 2 personally. What I'm waiting on, honestly, is just Fire Emblem. I needed that game, to like really make me purchase it. And generally for a Nintendo console, that is usually either Fire Emblem or a Smash or something like that. That's usually the type of thing that gets me like, okay, now is the time for me to go ahead and get my Switch. So, Three Houses is basically what convinced me to get my first Switch. And so it'll probably be Fortune's Weave that ends up getting me to buy this. Yeah, Fortune's Weave probably won't be here because this is not. It is basically advertised as a partner direct, so this is like third party games essentially. This is not going to be. If you're expecting like a 3D Mario, if you're expecting Zelda, which you shouldn't be expecting Zelda in general because it takes so long to make a fucking Zelda game nowadays. um, you shouldn't be expecting Smash or anything like that. So don't go. It's not gonna go. What's up, man? King Be Cruel, Breath of the Wild, Age of Calamity is actually a really good Switch 2 game. Oh, okay. I don't know, cause I'm like I don't really play like Warriors games like that most of the time, other than I did play Persona 5 Strikers, and that was pretty much it. But with P5 Strikers, they did so much to try to like sell you on it because they're like, look, it's basically a sequel to P5, and it kind of is, but not quite the sequel to P5 that I would really want. But I think the concept of that combat system, which is actually oddly similar to Final Fantasy VII Remake, would make for like a really cool like spin-off ish game if they ever, I mean, not spin-off ish, well yeah, I mean, I guess spin-off ish game, but it would make for like actual like really cool um Persona style action game if they ever wanted to make one. Not that I think that they should make Persona an action game, but you know what I mean. Like the concept of that combat is pretty cool. Okay. I think SE is safe to assume is going to be here, but only news on 7 Rebirth port and possibly news on the Adventures of Elliot. Yeah, I 100% agree, Crossy. Call me when Persona 6 happens. I will literally never call you then because Persona 6 will never fucking happen. I wish it would. I think we're so due for Persona 6. Like, holy fuck, is it like overdue? It has been, I believe, as of this year, it's been 10 years since Persona 5. It's actually crazy how this has continued to escalate, right? Like, how long the development cycles for the Persona games have just like shot up, right? Like Persona 4 to like 3 to 4 wasn't that long, but then 4 to 5, holy shit, and now 5 to 6 is even crazier. And so the fact that it's been 10 years and we don't even have a logo is fucking ridiculous. Like, not even a logo, guys. So, yeah, I am hopeful we'll see P6 eventually. I think Metaphor and Persona 3 Reload did kind of fill in the gap for, you know, that type of game experience. But obviously, people still want actual Persona 6. So, any Atlas news would be Metaphor stuff and P4 news. IDK if we will get P4R news just yet. Yeah, I don't know either. Also, considering the last time we saw Persona 4 Reload, it looked like they basically just started making the game. I know that's obviously not true, but that's the vibe that the trailer ended up conveying, unfortunately. It looks like, hey guys, look, we modeled Inaba, and Yu Narukami, we gave him like the default Unreal Engine 4 walk cycle animation, and that's all we got done. Stay tuned. Obviously not actually the case. I'm sure they have way more done behind the scenes than that, but again, that's the kind of impression that that first trailer left off. And also, people were not really a fan of the visuals. There was kind of like a blue tint to the game, and Persona 3 Reload also has this blue tint, but it works for Persona 3 Reload because Persona 3 is blue, right? But that sort of like weird blue tint on Persona 4 looked really out of place and wrong, and so hopefully they can fix that by the time the game actually releases. So, not that I mean, that shouldn't be like a huge deal, right? Like, whatever shader business they have going on, I think they can fix it. But Falcon may be here. Ease 10, Proud Nordics Western releases this month, and then there's an unannounced game condo set that they will reveal this month, plus Trails in the Sky second. They can advertise. First just dropped in a direct last year. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm super curious. Capcom also probably going to be here. I imagine maybe there will be like a new RE9 trailer for the Switch 2 version. So I think they'll show that. I was listening to Bellular the other day, and like he was, you know, it was like one of his videos on console gaming, and in it had like some really interesting stuff where it was talking about what Capcom basically described as the PS5 wall, which I don't know why makes me fucking giggle, because it's just such a funny concept. But like essentially they were saying that, like, you know, PS5s aren't really selling at the rate that publishers had really hoped for, and so or I guess that people aren't really upgrading from PS4 to 5 in the way that people at the rate that they had hoped for. And so now they are kind of like, Capcom was saying that they've basically seen that wall affecting their game sales, and it's part of the reason why they try to be so aggressively multi-platform. But it's just really hard, because even then that doesn't necessarily fix the problem, because you know, the situation with things like tariffs, etc., that gaming hardware has gotten so expensive that people just aren't adopting at similar rates anymore, because who can afford a GPU or a PS5 when the price is going up and not down? Or, you know, and game consoles don't get price cuts anymore. So, like, what the fuck are you supposed to do as a gamer? Play old games, I guess. I'll turn it up.
Deep in space, a research station was suddenly struck by a cosmic storm.
Oh, we saw this game like last time.
15 years later, its survivors are living peacefully. But the threat of another cosmic
fucking
storm
love the style of this.
is coming up fast. Maki and Omura, two young explorers, must now brave galactic dangers and save all that's left of their home. Teamwork is key in this two-player co-op adventure. You'll need a few tools to survive. The scrap hook grabs and moves platforms so you can carve a path forward.
I am so fucking about this game. Oh my god, dude.
The liquid launcher blasts water to activate mechanisms and cool down scorching surfaces.
I adore that someone made this.
And the beam cannon fires a stream of super hot heat to destroy obstacles, open doors, and more. Use the tools together, and you might discover unexpected solutions to puzzles.
Yeah, and it's a co-op
While
game, right?
exploring, you can encounter strange life forms, or opt for a detour and take a little travel break. With GameShare, two players can adventure together locally or online if one person has the game. Can these two brave explorers save their home?
It Takes Two for weebs, chat.
Orbitals launches exclusively on the Nintendo Switch 2 system this summer.
Bro, I am so about
Hello,
it.
everyone. Welcome to today's Nintendo
Holy
Direct
fuck.
Partner Showcase. In this presentation, we'll be focusing on games from our publishing and development partners.
Yeah, like
coming
late
to the
80s,
Nintendo
early
Switch
90s
2
anime.
and
Oh my
Nintendo
god.
Switch systems. What you just saw was Orbitals, launching exclusively on Nintendo Switch 2 this summer. We hope you're looking forward to this intergalactic co-op puzzle adventure. Okay, let's take a look at some upcoming Nintendo Switch games. waters of Issei Bay, on an island where legends of mermaids have been passed down, a tale of mysteries and curses stirs. The latest Paranormacite mystery adventure is coming to the Nintendo Switch system. The story follows Yuza Minakuchi, a boy who works as a pearl diver. One day, while gathering on the seafloor, he encounters another version of himself. This phenomenon
That's horrifying.
is just the beginning. Soon, other strange incidents begin to plague the island. A girl with no memories, strangers searching for treasure, and a housewife investigating victims of drowning. Speaking to those involved is a natural part of the investigation, but you'll also need to search deep within the waters of Issei Bay. As each of their motives intertwine, the story connects to the mermaid legend told centuries ago. Paranormacite, The Mermaid's Curse, launches on Nintendo Switch, February 19th. Pre-orders begin later today on Nintendo eShop. Battle for World Glory! A new Captain Tsubasa game is kicking its way onto Nintendo Switch. Choose from a roster of over 110 characters, representing 22 teams. Score with powerful shots from the original work, as well as newly added special moves that give passes, blocks, dribbles, and tackles.
You guys, the actual like official stream chat,
for victory.
they're like,
Gear up for sensational.
they're all saying like, oh no, it's only gonna be anime games today. I'm like, damn bro, we're only 3 games in.
This year.
Chill out, but also you're a Nintendo fan. What the fuck are you saying? Only anime games.
Including some games that will also be available on Nintendo Switch.
Like literally, what the fuck do you even mean?
A life or death fight for survival begins. It was a normal day until a cave-in befell the city of Tokyo. As the dust settles, our protagonist, Anne, discovers an underground world deep below the metropolis. But she's not alone. Creatures called Xeno populate the unknown expanse. If you're found by a Xeno, it's game over. Fighting is not an option, so quick thinking and decision-making are vital to your survival. Analyze their patterns and find the best route to make your escape.
Also, not an anime game, so they can shut the fuck up.
Activate traps in each area to lure and ensnare any stalking Xeno. And by using GameShare,
I love how much this feature is like getting like
including Anne's movement and camera
getting used.
adjustments.
This is nice.
Whether locally or online, coordinating with your friends is key to making it out alive.
Damn, my cropping is still off.
Survive the subterranean depths
There we
in
go.
Tokyo Scramble, launching exclusively on Nintendo Switch 2.
I
February
love
11th.
the game
Pre-orders
share
begin
feature,
later
and I
today
love that they're
on
using it
Nintendo
more.
eShop.
I thought it was brilliant on DS. I think it's brilliant now.
Awaken your Viking spirit.
Yeah, it's pretty
Battle,
fucking tight.
build, and conquer in this massive survival game.
It's literally the coolest
How
Nintendo
you go
thing.
about it is entirely up to you. You could start by gathering materials around the woods. Fashion a bow and arrows to hunt wildlife and prepare meals.
What in the
With an
RuneScape?
axe, you can chop trees to build a house. Yikes, don't get hit by falling trees. Build pillars, install beams, construct walls,
Oh, this is like a survival game.
make the roof, and even add a fireplace. Now you're safe, even from the cold. Wait, is this ventilated? Don't forget the chimney too. By upgrading your crafting stations, you can make items of higher quality.
Chad, I actually
Once
kind of
you've
like
built
the
a
art
ship,
style of this game.
Set sail on the high seas to reach new lands and create even more strongholds. Plus, up to 10 players online can explore this vast world together. Now, go forth and survive.
But I'm not into like
Nintendo Switch 2.
I'm not into
Find your way forward in these games.
I'm not into survival games, really.
Return to the kingdom of Hollow Knight.
Oh, Hollow Knight.
And fight back the infection in this upgraded modern classic. Dodge, dash, and slash through this 2D action-adventure platformer, now with enhanced visuals and improved frame rates on Nintendo Switch 2. Equip charms to enhance your abilities and deal magic damage using upgradable spells while exploring the vast, interconnected map. Descend into a world of insects and heroes when Hollow Knight Nintendo Switch 2 Edition launches on Nintendo Switch 2 later today. Nintendo Switch 2
they
players
should
who
launch
have Hollow Knight on
Nintendo Switch
Nintendo
2
Switch
Edition
can upgrade to the
on
Nintendo Switch 2
PS5.
Edition for free with the upgrade pack. eFootball, reborn from Pro Evolution Soccer, is coming to Nintendo Switch 2. Build out your club, sign legendary players, and compete in tournaments around the globe in World Tour mode. Join an exciting competition where national teams face off every 4 years in the International Cup Tournament. Or play with friends locally or online to prove who's at the top of their game. Experience the excitement of soccer and aim to be the best in the world when eFootball Kickoff launches on Nintendo Switch 2 this summer. Travel through 4 ages in
Elliot.
a brand new HD 2D action RPG. Explore the age of safekeeping, the hero Elliot's own time. The age of reconstruction, when humans nearly went extinct.
I think it's safe, like
The age of magic, a time when spells flourished. And
whenever
the
someone
age of
says
budding,
keep
the birth of human
something safe, I'm
civilization.
just
In
you
each
guys know
age,
how I
the
laugh.
scenery and citizens of Elliot's hometown will change. You can also obtain some weapons and magic unique to certain time periods. A story spanning time will soon begin. The Adventures of Elliot, The Millennium Tales, launches on the Nintendo Switch 2 system. June
As a
18th.
2D Zelda fan, this looks cool.
Have a blast with Super Bomberman games.
Oh, it launches
from
on
the
your birthday?
Super
That's
NES
awesome,
era. Play the first Super Bomberman through to the culmination of the series, Super Bomberman 5, including titles previously unreleased worldwide.
Bomberman, that's crazy.
The Famicom versions of Bomberman and Bomberman 2 are also included. Plus, there's a brand new Boss Rush mode, as well as Game Share support.
Game share, dude. Fuck yes. I love how supported this feature is.
Super
I love that it works with
Bomberman
Switch 1
Collection
too. Like
launches
that's
on Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch.
That's incredible.
Later today. The unknown journey continues.
it's happening. Holy fuck.
The second entry in the Final Fantasy VII Remake series is coming to
I
Nintendo
wonder how it
Switch
looks.
2.
Like actually,
In pursuit of its arch nemesis, Sephiroth,
it is lower resolution. I can
Cloud
tell.
Strife and his comrades escape the city of Midgar and embark
Like already.
on a journey across the vast world.
The hair looks different too, but it's not
Traverse the
bad.
planet on chocobos, wheelies, in a buggy, or other modes of transportation.
Yeah, this is not bad
Team
at all.
up with allies in battles, blending
think it looks better
action
than Steam Deck.
and strategy. If you'd like to focus on the story, there's also a boost function to make combat easier. You'll also find various activities scattered across the world, allowing you to take a break from the action.
You're mine.
And as you interact with your allies, their affinity toward
Yeah, the
you
hair
will
is definitely
grow and
different, I can
impact
tell.
how the story unfolds.
And it is
What fate
definitely
awaits Cloud and his crew
low
in
re-
their
lower
pursuit of
resolution.
Sephiroth? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth launches on Nintendo Switch 2 June 3rd.
June
Pre-orders
3rd, dude.
begin
Awesome.
later today on Nintendo
Oh
eShop.
shit. That part 3 announcement must be right around the corner. If they're trying to get this out
Awakening subject.
to this many
While
people this
investigating
fast?
a lunar research station, an injury befalls spacefarer Hugh
The hair
Williams.
shows the low res? Yeah. You can like immediately tell.
With him is Diana, an android called
I'm a boomer, I
Pragmata.
can't tell the
There
difference.
you are. All better.
Wait, Pragmata is coming to Switch 2? What the
Classified as
fuck?
unauthorized intruders. The two are targeted by the station AI.
Was this a known
which
thing, or is this
sent
announced
enemy
right now?
bots after them.
Come on, gun work.
These bots have near impenetrable armor.
Yeah, I'm excited for this game too.
But with
Also, this
Diana's
game,
hacking skills,
You can tell the
break down
the
their
hair
defenses.
like
Initiating hack.
is not as good
What
on
was that?
the
By
PlayStation
moving
version.
the cursor through panels toward the green goal, you can hack the enemy bots.
There's no time to explain. Shoot now.
Once their weak points are exposed, fire away.
I hacked it.
Depending on the nodes you pass through, you can modify the damage and effects of a hack. Each split-second decision can change the outcome of battle.
Oh, it's already known? Okay, I just somehow
What
missed that.
truths will the
But
two find in this
that makes sense.
AI-controlled lunar station?
So it's not one of your bot buddies?
Overdrive protocol. Initiate.
Yeah, baby. We did it. This is how we say good job.
And what will Diana learn on this journey? Pragmata launches
Cloud
on
Strife
Nintendo
coded.
Switch 2, April 24th.
like high
A demo
five?
will be available later today on Nintendo eShop.
Oh shit.
We hope you're looking forward to fast-paced combat and exploration with a unique combination of hacking and shooting. Let's continue with more headlines.
But that's really cool.
Journey to the Lost
Rebirth
Lands.
on Switch 2, it doesn't
Become
look
a
bad.
legendary Turok
but,
warrior
um,
in this intergalactic action
It is definitely
shooter.
lower res, and the hair is
To
definitely
stop
different.
an alien threat from destroying all human life, you'll journey solo or with a team of warriors online and battle all sorts of primal creatures in ferocious combat. Swap between first-person and third-person perspectives as you unleash weapons, melee attacks, and special abilities to devastate foes. Extract DNA from fallen enemies and the environment to upgrade your arsenal, evolve your mantle, and unlock even more abilities called Echo Syncs to gain a greater edge in combat.
Yeah, this is like a Turok game, I'm pretty sure.
As you venture across breathtaking worlds, you'll unravel the mysteries that ultimately hold the key to saving humanity. Turok Origins launches on Nintendo Switch 2 this fall. Uncover the truth
What?
of Xanadu.
Crossy, you in chat, bro?
In a Japan where
You seeing
Kyoto
this
is
shit?
the capital, another world exists that's encroaching on our own. A world where monsters roam free. A boy named Ray must use his newly awakened powers against the threat
That's
as
cool.
he joins
A new
Hirosaka
Xanadu
Academy,
game.
a school for gifted students. The Academy's goal? Conquer Xanadu, the great labyrinth rumored to be the origin of this other world. While traversing the labyrinth, hone your abilities and reshape the terrain to expand the range of your exploration. Then, take on dangerous enemies in 3D action RPG combat. Use your powers to overcome foes. Outside the labyrinth, improve your stats. And spend time with your
Academy
friends
slot.
as you prepare to conquer Xanadu.
That's
The
so
battle
fucking
between
funny.
man and monster begins. Discover the truth when Kyoto Xanadu launches on the Nintendo
Yeah, dude,
Switch 2
Kyoto
and
Xanadu,
Nintendo Switch
that's-
systems this
That's
summer.
fucking tight. Moving away from
Check out
Tokyo.
these anime-style games.
Damn. Okay, maybe
It's
chat was
time to
right.
evolve in the latest
Maybe it
Digimon
is Anime
story game.
Direct.
One
They
day,
might have been
a
cooking, bro,
powerful
with that.
blast causes the world to collapse and sends you 8 years into the past with over 450 Digimon to collect. Adventure through the human world and digital world to save the future.
I still fucking want to play this so bad.
And on Nintendo Switch 2, you can select Quality Mode, playing in 4K at 30 frames per second, or Performance Mode, playing in Full HD at 60 frames per second. Digimon Story Time Stranger launches on the Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch systems July 10th. Pre-orders begin later today on Nintendo eShop. An adventure set high in the sky is soaring in. Form your party from a roster of over 20 characters, each with their own fighting style. Channel the power of teamwork and summon mighty primal beasts to vanquish your enemies. You can also team up in local or online multiplayer.
That's cool.
The helmet!
Really, it's getting. Yeah, this is like what did they call it? Something edition.
Grand Blue Fantasy
Endless
Relink
Ragnarok.
Endless Ragnarok launches
That's
on
cool.
Nintendo Switch 2, July 9th.
Nice.
The latest Monster Hunter Stories game is flying in.
Dude, this direct
Your
is actually
monster
pretty
allies,
fucking tight.
called Monsties,
I'm actually glad I
can
woke
learn
up for this.
special abilities through a ceremony called the Rite of Channeling. Raise your Monsties as you travel the world. The lands lie on the brink of disaster. Monsters are on the verge of extinction. And the riders trying to save the world will have to contend with an even greater threat. Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection soars onto Nintendo Switch 2, March 13th.
Yeah, this is a
demo
pretty solid
will be
direct
available
IMO.
later today on Nintendo eShop. Save data can be
I don't think
transferred to
Nintendo
the full
fans will
game
agree
once
because
purchased.
there's no first party stuff,
New
but
titles are joining the archives.
3, 2, 1, go!
Rave Racer, published by Namco in 1995, speeds into the Arcade Archives 2 lineup.
Icefire, you are locked the hell of
Aim
the
for
fuck
first
in, huh?
place in a race against your rivals. And
That's awesome.
get ready for a new line of home console titles. Console Archives is on the way. Doraemon. Sonic Wings Special. And more will be released over time. The first
Wait.
wave of Console Archives titles includes Cool Borders and Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos. These titles will be available on Nintendo Switch 2 later today.
Oh, cool. Also, I know this is semi-random, but while they're doing the montage here, I'm thinking, and I don't know if I can have this set up tomorrow and we can do it, but I'm gonna look and see what I can do tonight. But I want to stream episode Dusky. I know that sounds like, what the fuck? You want to play the Final Fantasy 15 demo that was released like 12 years ago? Yeah, actually I do. I actually really do. I want to play episode Dusky. So I have my PS4 collecting dust. I want to see if I can like dust it off and like see if we can play episode Dusky. But yeah.
Wake up, Neptune.
And then also we can play Platinum Demo too. Obviously, as I mentioned before, this is leading up to my Final Fantasy 15 kind of like, oh shit, Tales of Arise is coming to Switch too? What the fuck? That's cool. It's leading up to my Final Fantasy 15 like big retrospective RE9.
On the crime scene.
When a string of mysterious deaths occurs across America, FBI analyst Grace Ashcroft is captured by the suspect while investigating the case.
Platinum Demo is actual lost media? Yeah, I know, for real, bro.
In her attempt to escape, Grace comes up against unknown threats. A limited supply of healing items and ammunition are at her disposal. Will she confront the threats head-on, or save her ammo for the next encounter?
This game is so sick.
For Grace, impending doom is always close at hand. Meanwhile, another agent working for an anti-bioterrorism organization is also on the case. Leon S.
Let's
Kennedy.
go.
6 survivors of Raccoon City, all dead from the same thing.
With his physical prowess, Leon can parry an opponent's attack, then strike to break the stunned opponent's stance in close quarters combat. He can fire from a distance using handguns and rifles, or use an enemy's weapon against them. Leon has a varied arsenal of attacks at his disposal. This game features both third-person and first-person camera perspectives, and you can change your perspective at any time.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting that they showed the gun, like the gun
difficulty
missing,
options
like
available,
intentionally
including
missing.
a mode for
I think
less
it's because they
experienced
can't
players
show it
that
in the
features aim
direct.
assist.
Noticed how she's not
Guide
shooting.
Grace as she attempts to escape
This is actually really funny.
And Leon, who relies on strength to carve.
Also,
his
the
own
hair
path.
is such a big downgrade on the
What
Switch
will
2
they
version.
discover when their
The game
fates
still looks good, but the
intertwine?
hair is noticeably worse.
Resident Evil Requiem launches on the Nintendo Switch 2 system February 27th. Pre-orders are available now on Nintendo eShop.
God, I can't believe it's that
Resident
close.
Evil 7 Biohazard and Resident Evil Village
Nice.
will also be available the same day.
Oh shit, the same
Horror-filled
day?
Excitement awaits whether you play these games or Resident Evil Requiem first. Plus, a Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller featuring original art is releasing alongside the games. Amiibo figures of Grace and Leon will also be available this summer.
What?
You can scan them to receive
You
in-game
guys?
weapon skins.
What if Leon came to Smash?
Resident Evil Requiem, the latest entry in the Resident Evil
Wouldn't that
series,
make
is
sense?
launching later this month.
Like,
実をならゲームチャットあれは
for
You can
Leon
also
to
look
come to
forward to a
Smash?
creator's voice video featuring a member of the Resident Evil Requiem development team.
I think that would be the
video will
fucking
release in the near
coolest shit
future.
ever.
Next is our last announcement.
Hey everybody, from all of us here at
No
Bethesda
way.
Game
Starfield?
Studios. If you're like us, Nintendo has meant so much to you from your early days of
Starfield
gaming
is
to
coming
now.
to
It was
Switch
incredible
2.
for us to partner on the original Switch, and it was just such a great piece of hardware and also so personal when you play. We're excited to finally bring a number of our franchises for the first time to Nintendo. We hope you all enjoy the journey.
Vault Dwellers, welcome home. Fallout
Wait,
4
no, Fallout
Anniversary
70's
Edition is emerging on
Oh,
Nintendo
Fallout
Switch
4.
2. Scavenge, shoot, build, and create alliances as you reshape the wasteland and what remains of civilization. Every choice matters. Fancy yourself a smooth talker or pining to pump up your power armor? Choose from hundreds of perks that fit your playstyle. Every road leads somewhere new, from the heart of Diamond City to the shadowy corners of forgotten vaults. The Commonwealth is packed with stories waiting to be uncovered. In addition to the base game, Experience 6 official expansions and over 150
Oh, we are bringing the
Creation
games
Club
you already
items
played
to
to Switch?
expand your adventure. Grab your Pip-Boy and traverse
To be
the
fair, bro,
wasteland in
like,
Fallout 4
that's kind of-
Anniversary Edition, launching on Nintendo
that's
Switch
kind
2,
of what being a
February
Switch
24th.
fan is like in
Pre-orders
general.
begin later
Is
today on Nintendo eShop.
you get to play a game
The year is
several years
1937.
later.
Sinister forces are
Like if
on
it's
the
third
hunt for
party,
ancient
yeah.
power, and only one person can stop them.
Watch me.
Embark on a globe-trotting cinematic adventure in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Set between the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade, Indy will journey around the
Shadow
world
Master
to
Key, what's up,
uncover
man?
the mystery behind the Great Circle. From the pyramids of Giza to the sunken temples of Sukhothai and beyond, use your wits to infiltrate historic areas and solve fiendish puzzles. Or use your whip to face off against dangerous foes and explore a world full of daring escapes and unforgettable encounters. Adventure calls when Indiana Jones and the Great Circle launches on Nintendo Switch 2, May 12th. Pre-orders begin later today on Nintendo eShop. Explore the vast landscape of Cyrodiil in the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered.
Oh, Oblivion Remastered's coming.
Experience this
Okay.
renowned open-world RPG now on a Nintendo system for the first time. Freely customize your
Nice.
character to match your playstyle. Then adventure amongst an unforgettable cast of characters
By the grace of the gods, I serve Tambriel as her ruler.
and fight back the Daedra to close shut the jaws of Oblivion. Master ranged or melee weapons, wield powerful magic, or use stealth skills to best your foes. In this remastered version, character models, weapons, even rocks and sweet rolls have all been meticulously recreated. Combat animations have also been updated to give them a modernized touch. Plus, the Shivering Isles and Knights of the Nine expansions are included alongside the main story to take your adventure even further. Step through the gates once more when The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered launches on the Nintendo Switch 2 system this year. We hope you're excited for these games from Bethesda Softworks. That's all for today's Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. Thank you for watching.
I think this like peaked for me like with the very first game because I think that game looks really cool. Well, I forget what it's called, Orbital something. But that looks pretty tight. I'm like super into that. It's actually a game I might cover because I'm just so intrigued by everything that they did with it. So let's look at the Final Fantasy VII stuff. Let's go back to Rebirth Switch 2. I want to see if I can pull it up. Cool, thanks. Let's see if I can pull it up. No, you can't actually. Call your Xbox friends. They may have just found their 13th reason. Crossy. I don't feel so good, Mr. NSP. Oh, God. I mean, okay. Yeah, so the Direct itself. The Nintendo Direct was a third-party Direct. I mean, this is just generally what it is, right? Like, you're not getting anything new. At best, you're getting things day and date, but you aren't getting, like... Fliptasy, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Appreciate you. But generally... you know, it's not going to be brand new games, never seen before announcements. It's really not going to be that most of the time. It's mostly going to be like, hey, if you love this game, you can play it on the go now. So when you go into it with that expectation specifically, I think it's a pretty solid Direct. If you go into it with the expectation of like, hey, you know, I'm hoping to see like a brand new game or like a world premiere for something, then I think you're gonna be really
Share.
disappointed.
2 players can
This shit right here, I am just so enamored with, dude. Orbitals. Dude, this shit is like a day one for me. It's so cool. I'm trying to find Rebirth. Yeah, and the part of the reason why I want to, there's a 4K option, okay, for the stream. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, you can tell that this is lower resolution, or at least I can tell. I don't know how I can tell. I just can. Roy Mustang, thank you for the super chat. How goes the Trails in the Sky first playthrough? Have you finished? I am still playing it. I haven't had much gaming time, but I play about an hour of it on the weekends, which is why it's going so slow. But I'm still on the tournament where you get with Zen and Olivier, and that's where I'm currently at with it. So it's been like kind of a slow grind because I haven't had much time, but I am still playing it. Again, thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, I have not abandoned Trails, I promise you guys. What I want to see is that, like, see, because like if you're watching this on this stream right now, like, and YouTube generally has like a pretty good bit rate, but the problem is that Creative Studio 1, and this is like an ongoing theme with them. This was also a problem with the PS5 version, and the PS5 version did have resolution issues, but this isn't that. This is like literally video compression. This is like really gnarly low bit rate. That's what this is. This is actually, it's not even YouTube compression. This is just low bit rate. Because we're looking at this 4K, the encoder should be good. I don't think it's the stream either, because no other game had this issue. I think this is just classic Creative Studio 1, like, we forgot to change the bit rate to like something greater than like 2000 kilobytes, and so anytime the game moves, it like immediately starts melting. Like, so this actually makes it incredibly hard to say how good the game's resolution looks. Now, with that being said, I'm not expecting much in terms of resolution. I think DLSS is going to carry for how the game looks, definitely. But, you know, the PS5 performance mode has resolution issues to the max. The game on Steam Deck is, it works. It works. But you will not be able to see shit in order to get it working, because the resolution is going to be very, very, very rough. And the big difference between Switch 2, though, and Steam Deck is that Switch 2 does have DLSS and the Steam Deck does not. However, you can actually mod the Steam Deck to have like FSR for these games. Now, it's unofficial, obviously, but that's one way you can get it better looking on Steam Deck. So it looks pretty good in motion, but we'll have to see the final thing. Yeah. My only thing is just that, like, again, the compression here is stupid gnarly. But it doesn't look worse per se than the other versions of the game. And by worse, what I mean is, like, it doesn't look like they've significantly downgraded the visuals in like an overt apparent way so far from what I can tell. It looks like a scaled down version of what we got on PS5. right? So obviously, yeah, no, it doesn't look as good as the PS5 Pro or the PC version. That much is for sure. You can literally tell just by the vegetation count in the grasslands because on the PC, the vegetation here looks amazing. It's like the best place for that particular effect in this game. And yeah, on the PC version, it is pretty damn stacked. And then you look at it on, say, the base PS5 version or this Switch 2 version, not nearly as dense, obviously. But again, it doesn't look like the struggle version, other than the other than the insanely diabolical bit rate that they have left us with. Like, chat, look at Yuffie. Look at Yuffie. This is so... Why does Creative Studio One do this? Why do they have this problem with the bitrate for the trailers? Again, this was a huge problem for the trailers for the PS5 version even, which just made the game's bitrate look so unbelievably horrendous. Why do you make this super 4K beautiful game, invested upwards of $100 million on creating this thing, and then rather than just going into a video editor and changing a fucking number, one variable, that's literally all you have to do to not make to not make this happen, this right here. Unbelievable. They don't do it. And I don't know. I'm willing to bet that there is some type of like bullshit, like levels of corporate nonsense that somehow influence why the bit rate is like this. I know. I just don't understand. But like so many of their trailers are like this. Except for like when it's like the PC version trailers didn't have this. For this game, those were actually like very 4K, but like everything on the console is like this for them, and I don't understand what's going on with their division that makes that happen to their trailers. Because even on the PS5 version of Rebirth trailers, I can't go back and watch those trailers like for viewing pleasure. And even, I also like sometimes I like to use trailer footage for like for videos, because I'm like, I don't want to take out all my footage of the game and start editing all that footage like crazy. So I'm gonna just use trailer footage, and I go back to those trailers, and then I'm like, oh man, these trailers are rough. This is rough looking. Anyway, that's just the tangent there. But from what we can tell, if we look past the ungodly poor bit rate, is that it does indeed seem to be the same game. When the game is not moving, we can kind of tell that it is lower resolution. I don't know how I can tell that it's lower resolution, but I can definitely still tell in still moments where it's just like Cloud's face. And I actually don't think it's the compression doing that, not the compression, but like the bit rate doing that. I think that that's probably when the game is being a bit more honest. Like, see, even here, I don't know how I can tell you that this is slightly lower resolution than the PS5 or the PC version. Obviously, than the PC version, then you could set to whatever resolution you want. But I should say, but like I can tell that it's lower quality than the PS5 version in terms of resolution. I just can. But that doesn't matter, because we all knew that it would be, and the fact that it's running is pretty cool. And what I think is more obvious is the hair. Like the hair, I can tell right away is different from the PS5 and PC version. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you guys can like really spot it the same way I can spot it, or like if you feel the same way, but I do feel like the hair is different. Subtext, what's up, man? Well, we know that from remake Switch versus PS5. Yeah. It's oh yeah, see like right here, the way her face is like a bit blurrier and such. Yeah, you can tell. They changed something about the hair effects, and then they changed the resolution of the game. Again, it's not bad. It's just what's required to get the game running on the Switch 2. So yeah, I would still say it's pretty amazing that even with those downgrades, they're able to get the game working on the platform to begin with. So, and then this shot right here, if we go back to see Aerith really quickly. This shot is like where the hair change is like most notable to me at her bangs. There's just something different about, I don't even know how to describe it technically, but the hair looks different for sure. But they got the game running. It'll probably run at 30 frames per second. There will definitely not be like a 60 frames mode, but come on, NSP, the handheld is trying his best. I'm not hating. I'm just noting that it is different. Yeah, I would say that this is pretty good. I think it actually looks better than I thought it does. And I think if like, you know, the hair and it being slightly blurrier is the compromise for that, is pretty fucking solid. Hair is always the first thing to suffer in lower spec ports. Look at the RE Engine games. Yeah, that's like a common theme of this Nintendo Direct, is that if you go back and you look at the hair of all the realistic games, the hair is noticeably worse in all of the versions, and it's not terrible by any means. I want to be clear. It's not terrible by any means. It's just noticeable to the point of where you don't even need the images side by side to notice that it's different, right? Like you don't need, actually, let me see if I can actually pull up this particular shot, because this shot in particular looks different on PS5 and on PC. Like every version looks different, but that's because the PC version has reworked lighting as well, and so that's also a factor in why can I not find a high resolution version of this image? It's like one of the most used promotional images, or it used to be. It used to be. What the fuck? I clicked the link and then it doesn't go there. Oh wait, here we go. Square Enix got me. Okay, wow. That's... Could I just do the image? Can we zoom out? Okay. So this is how she looks on, this is PC, because this is 4K max out. And then this is Switch 2. Okay, actually that's a way bigger difference than I thought when they're close together. But again, it's not bad. It's not bad by any means. It's just it is a noticeable difference between between the two. For sure, that is pretty noticeable. This is it running on PC. Again, note the hair. Damn, Rebirth looks so good on PC, man. And then yeah. I feel like I'm lying. You don't notice the difference? I feel like it's huge. Like, and again, I'm not saying that to say the Switch 2 version is bad or anything. It actually still looks really good. But I think that the Switch 2 version here looks closer to like remake, if that makes sense. Maybe like it looks closer to maybe like PS4 standard, and like this is just like, it's pretty big, but it's not bad. Like I said, obviously this is better, right? Like clearly, but this isn't terrible. Like it's not like I would like, oh, I would not touch this with like a 10-foot fall. This is unplayable. Don't play this version of the game. And it's not like that. It's not like that at all. But it is definitely, maybe I'm just, oh, I really can't tell the difference. Man, maybe I should put these side by side for you. Let me see if I can do that. Let me see if I can like do something in Paint really quickly so we can look at the difference more accurately. Yeah, this will work. Hold on. Kind of ghetto, but it works. Wait, why the fuck doesn't that work? What the fuck? Hold on. Oops. Really? Okay, hold on. I'll do it like this. I don't know why it. Give me 1 second and I'll have the comparison on screen that I just made in Paint. Oh, there it is. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, let me. Okay, the left is PC, and likely pretty close to what you get on. Actually, probably not close to what you get on PS5 Pro, because the PC port has the redone lighting, and that's actually not available on the PS5 version. But that's the difference. And then the right is the Switch 2 version. So, as you can tell, the lighting and the hair quality is just, it's higher quality on. I mean, obviously. But like I said, it's not like the Switch 2 version is bad by any means at all whatsoever. It is very good. I want to emphasize that because I think some people could definitely take this as me hating on the Switch 2 version. I'm actually very impressed with it. But that being said, I'm just saying that that there is definitely a difference between the two. It definitely does not get to the quality of like the higher end versions, like the PS5 or the PC version, but it's still pretty respectable. Still pretty good. Yeah. This is still pretty damn cool. I think the lighting on like the version of the Switch 2 version, it looks more like Final Fantasy VII remakes quality of lighting. You know what I mean? It looks more like remake to me versus like how Rebirth looks. And that makes sense because Switch 2 is somewhere between the difference between like it's like a PS 4.5, right? It's not quite as strong as a PS5, but it is more strong than a PS4, right? So it kind of makes sense probably that it looks a little bit more like remake to me in the Switch 2 version, and that's probably because it's using graphical settings that are more similar to remake. Switch 2 is a PS4 Pro docked and PS4 regular/slim handheld. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, again, this is really good. This is not, again, it's not a struggle version. It's not it's not terrible from what I can tell here. But also, yeah, the PC version is still like on another level because they graphically enhanced the PC version. Again, they added like new lighting and stuff. So this is basically the spectrum of playing Rebirth. Pretty good. Digital Foundry will have a more intelligent background breakdown of all the effects and such. But I think that for the normal consumer, this looks good. Bulb Sweet Bulb, thank you so much for the super chat. I don't think you're clowning on the PC port. I just think you're comparing Michael Jordan to an infant. Or not on the PC port, on the port of the Switch 2 port. I'm sorry. You didn't even say that. I inserted the word. I do that sometimes when reading. Thank you again for the super chat. You're right. It is comparing Michael Jordan to like a literal infant, but I just want to say the infant looks pretty good. The infant is dunking. He's not a completely unskilled player. He's pretty good. But yeah. It does actually, yeah, I think the Switch 2 version looks better than I thought for sure. 100%. I don't think that there is anything wrong with the way the Switch 2 version looks here on the right. Whatsoever. I mean, it's just everything that like all the visual downgrades are just par for the course, right? Like it's just what you would expect to get it running on a handheld. And also, I mean, it'll probably run better than the Steam Deck version because it's been actually optimized in a way that I don't think the Steam Deck version has. I hope that some of those optimizations that have been made specifically for Switch 2, like the fact that they changed the hair and like some of the lighting stuff to like get this thing running on Switch 2, I hope that like those can get patched into the PC version so that they can have a version of the game that can run better on Steam Deck as well. Probably won't happen, but that would be nice. Thoughts on Final Fantasy 16 getting a Switch port? I think it'll happen. I think Yoshi P has kind of teased it. It's not bad. I ain't touching Rebirth on Steam Deck. Sounds scary. Rebirth on Steam Deck is okay. It's definitely playable. I don't recommend doing main quest content on there, but you can play Queen's Blood and you can like do side quests and shit. But it is not in any by any means like the best way to play it, so but it is very playable. Also, this port might give us a glimpse into how Part 3 will run on Switch 2, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I assume that however this game runs on Switch 2 is exactly how Part 3 will run on Switch 2. I am really hoping, and we're kind of under the assumption right now, that Part 3 will be multi-platform day one, which means that we will have a PC version of it on day one, which I am very, 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 very much looking forward to. I just don't want to play these Re-Trilogy games on consoles. I'm sorry, chat. I don't. These are the type of games that I really do want the ultimate immersive experience with. And I felt like the PS5 version of Rebirth, I don't want to choose between resolution and frame rate. I fucking said it. I don't want to choose between resolution and frame rate. I hate having to do that. I want both. And I want both so bad. I spend on a very pricey PC in order to have both. I want to be able to see the game looking as good as it possibly can and running as good as it possibly can. And the PS5 version was just too blurry on performance mode for me. And I hate the fact that I have pretty sharp eyes and I can notice this stuff. You guys that don't have like a technical eye, like I wish I was you. I wish I could like not see it, but I see it, and it to me, like the performance mode on PS5 is just too blurry, and the 30 frames 4K mode is just 30 frames, and I can't fucking do it. I can't do 30 frames anymore, man, for action games like this. Like I mean, I can if I have to. Obviously, I did because I completed Rebirth on PS5, but like, oh god, dude, I just don't want to do it. Considering buying a PC, how much do you think I need to spend for both? The number I would give you before this year started, I mean, before like the past year and a half, and the number now might be different, man. I don't know. Like, I was fortunate enough to build this PC at the beginning of last year, and I ended up getting a pretty decent deal. I was able to probably, I think like 1,500 maybe is like what I spent on this PC. Most of that money went into like the GPU, but like it was pretty cheap. I didn't spend like actually maybe it's close to 1,600 or 1,700. But in either case, that price has gone up already because of tariffs, and not just tariffs, but AI, because DRAM and GPUs are so expensive now because every AI data center wants them, and they are buying up the entire supply. Which is why you guys should vote for me to be president in 2028, because I will limit the number of GPUs that AI companies can buy so that regular consumers can also have an affordable GPU. That's going to be my platform. Did I see the No King shirt you made? No, I didn't see that. I'm going to be stuck with the 3060 for a long time. It said no kings except NSP. Wait, really? I need to see that. You'll have to DM that to me. Yeah, please DM that to me. I love that. Can you exit? No, what, bro? Bro. Don't even Don't even. We don't do that. We are nice people. We are nice people who do not do that. We do not. You're gonna get me in trouble, Skylian. Gaming rigs are more expensive so people can type "Hey Grok." Yeah. I know. It sucks. And like the worst thing about it is that I don't see the demand for GPUs slowing down this decade. Honestly, I think GPUs are only going to be more expensive for like the next 10 years. I just don't even see. It may even be longer than that. I think that GPUs are just going to continuously be more expensive for a very long time. And I think video game graphics are going to stagnate as a result. I think quite possibly video games may it's going to be a really rough time for video games in general because they're just going to be so expensive. And just the hardware is going to be so unbelievably expensive. And I also feel like opportunistic companies will try to sell their cloud services, and they may actually gain some traction on those cloud services for once because people won't be able to afford gaming hardware themselves. So they'll have to turn to like cloud services and stuff to be able to even fucking stream a game. I mean, to even be able to play a game. Yeah. EA, GeForce Now, Hellscape. Yeah, no, I think it's entirely possible that people get pushed to cloud gaming purely because they cannot afford their own gaming hardware. And I would hate that too. I think what we also may see as a result is just graphics kind of freezing in time. Like, graphics may not get better from here on out, which actually may benefit the industry long term, because I don't even know if we really need a game that looks better than a PS4 game. It just needs higher resolution and better frame rate, but like, do we need like visual fidelity beyond, you know, Death Stranding or Resident Evil games or like anything else like that? I really can't say I think games that benefit from visuals increasing that much more. We're already getting diminishing returns as it is. And so, you know, if video game graphics do stagnate, maybe good. Maybe that will actually control budgets a little bit. Stop forcing incremental graphical improvements, let frame rates catch up. Yeah, I agree. Like, the fact that 60 frames isn't standard now shows that we are not where we should be in terms of like just performance. Performance is what I care about more at this point than just better graphics. Game companies honestly need to get better at optimizing their games and not relying too much on the tools of new tools like frame gens and upscalers. Yeah. No, for sure. And I think actually one of the benefits that may end up happening, one of the silver linings of just people not being able to afford hardware upgrades, is that they may be forced to start optimizing their games because no one has the latest GPU, right? Like, no one can play the fucking game. And so they have to make a very well optimized game, because if they don't, they'll be limiting their audience. So that's me trying to look at the bright side, right? Trying to see what good could potentially happen from us not being able to afford GPUs. But the situation itself is still pretty shitty. It's only really Nintendo first parties and indies who remember what optimization and fucking compression are. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, the reason also is that the AAA studios are just trying to get the game fucking out in a lot of cases. So there's a longer trailer. Has the Rebirth Switch 2 thing has it dropped yet? Oh, yes, it has dropped.
The second entry.
Oops, let me see. Let's give it a look. Sorry.
Sephiroth was in Midgard. We fought him. Whatever happened, he's alive.
Okay, actually, this looks good, bro.
It's so green.
Holy fuck.
You
Switch 2 version is not bad at all.
Started. He wants to reclaim his birthright and rule over the planet with Genova at his side.
Cloud, remember what you told Guy and attack back there?
Nexus, thank you for the tier 1.
Problem is, Sephiroth stole the black materia, meaning he could destroy the entire planet any minute.
Your day of reckoning is here. Yet, you need not be afraid. This is but a homecoming.
You saved me before. Now it's my turn.
Whatever happens, I'm here for you.
Ready?
There you are.
Sephiroth!
Oh, wow, okay. So they're still doing the Magic the Gathering card bonuses. That's cool. Let's see what the comments say. This trailer is better than the direct trailer. This trailer is so much better than the direct trailer. Not just in terms of bitrate. Okay, it's 1080p premium. But also just a better directed trailer. Actually, kind of insane that they edited 2 different trailers. Like, one trailer for the direct and then another trailer not for the direct. Why did they do that? I don't know. But but yeah, they basically do spoil the game here. In kind of a semi-crazy way too, because I'm like, dang, people on Switch are just playing Rebirth for a remake for the first time, and then here goes this like Rebirth trailer that's just like, oh, here are all the major important scenes.
Whatever happened, he's alive.
Just look at it all.
Dude, the actual direct trailer was actually not what they should have shown. Especially because of the bitrate. I don't understand like what happened to the bitrate. I don't think it was just a stream either, because no other game on that stream had that type of like low bitrate. So I'm really confused on that front. But that being said, the direct trailer looked like an unfinished build compared to this. Yeah. Now that we look at this, this looks like the PS5 version on graphics mode. It's pretty cool. In reality, it's probably like the settings equivalent of performance mode, but running at 30 frames per second, if that makes sense. But it looks good. Like I wouldn't tell anyone to not play this version based on like what I'm seeing. I actually like this trailer more than I like any of the trailers that they released leading up to the game. I feel like this is a pretty tight trailer. Not gonna lie, if handheld it can come close to PS5, smaller screen, reducing blur. Yeah, this is actually not bad. But also the fact that they showed Cloud like parrying Sephiroth like while he's like about to like kill Aerith is just fucking insane. Truly a Square Enix spoil everything trailer. Like, why would you show that? Why would you show that? You literally worked this hard to make. Also, this is an insane frame for me to pause on, but like, why would you work this hard to make Aerith's death like as unspoiled as possible and then just spoil it in the trailer like this? This trailer is from SE, but I don't think no one would edit it. No, he didn't. This is not his style. It is a very good trailer though, but yeah, you can tell that it's not the way he tends to do his trailers. But I mean, I'm sure he's kind of hands off with this because this isn't like, you know, presenting the concept of Rebirth to the world. He'll be more involved with Part 3's trailer than you know, Switch 2 port trailer. Yeah, someone else can handle that, right? You don't need him working on it. But yeah, Cloud, Tifa, Barrett, Triple Tech against Genova cutscene, completely different lighting. Yeah, I'm sure they had to change the lighting on a few scenes, just like we were talking about earlier with this, where the lighting disparity between the two versions. And again, it's not like the Switch 2 version is bad, but if you look at the PC version here, there's definitely a difference. Again, it obviously the higher, more powerful hardware, you can definitely tell, but it's not like the Switch 2 version is ugly by any means, but there is like a disparity to some degree. Actually, this is like a really tight frame too. I like it. This is a pretty neat. Pretty neat thing. Yeah, guys. I think Rebirth on Switch 2 looks fucking phenomenal. This looks great. Lighting here looks good. I think that, like, when it comes to these different ports, the way to think about it is that if I didn't know that the PS5 or the PC version existed, would I find this acceptable looking? Would I find this good looking? And the answer is yes, right? So that's how I tend to judge this. The same with Resident Evil 9 and that trailer. Obviously, I've seen what it looks like running on like the PS5 version and like on higher end hardware. And obviously, that looks better. But when I look at the Switch 2 version, it's not like I keep thinking, this looks like shit. You know, I'm not thinking that. I do kind of think, like, when I look at the hair, I'm like, oh, that doesn't look as good as like the PS5 version. But like, again, if I didn't know that it existed, I probably wouldn't be thinking about that too much. So it does look good. To get back to the previous point, game studios also need to work on style and design. Games like KH look great. IMO because it's of its characters, world design, etc. Yeah. Style over substance, literally in this case, yeah. So I think it looks good. I think that Resident Evil 9 also looks pretty phenomenal too, running on the Switch, and so does Pragmata. So, like, even the old Kingdom Hearts style holds up today. I mean, you know, a lot of people would say they like the look of KH2 more than they like the look of KH3 or 4, so. And I think that 3 and 4 look good, but I wouldn't, like, disagree or shame you if you thought that Kingdom Hearts 2 still looks better to you than 3 or 4. Yeah, I wouldn't be like, what a terrible take or anything like that. I'd be like, that's understandable. I personally prefer KH3. I'm a Pixar shill, but I would definitely prefer a return to the classic style over KH4. I like the way KH4 looks because I am into verses and I was very into like the versus aesthetic. But like for Kingdom Hearts specifically, I would probably prefer if Kingdom Hearts 4 just looked like a Kingdom Hearts game. But I'm kind of overlooking that because I just like versus and I like Final Fantasy and I like that style. So I'm able to forgive it. But if anyone looks at Kingdom Hearts 4 and says, I don't like it because it doesn't look Kingdom Hearts to me, I wouldn't fight them on it. I wouldn't fight them on it, even though I personally do like KH4's style. I completely understand where people are coming from with that. And I think people are trying to stress that the art style will change depending on the world you're in, so it won't be a big deal. But I'm like 90% sure that most of the game is going to look like that. Like most of the game is going to look like realistic Sora. So that will be what you're seeing most of the time. 90% sure. But again, I don't personally have a problem with it because I like the style. But I don't fault anyone for saying that Kingdom Hearts 2's art style was like kind of like the identity of Kingdom Hearts, or kind of became it, like the old style, 1, 2, Birth by Sleep, those games. I get it. I get it. Not hating. Yeah, man, it looks good. It's not the highest resolution in the world, and it's not like 60 frames, but it's more than playable, and it has actually surpassed my expectations in terms of visual quality. So KH2 facial expressions are still better than KH3's. Yeah, 100%. I think KH2 is just like a really expressive game, TBH. One sec. Sorry, I need to blow my nose. I can live with that far more than having to deal with Nomina's Versus 13 Induced Crisis. I like it. I like that he is just basically retaliating against Square. I like that he's like, you know what, fuck you. I'm going to turn everything in the Versus so you guys can never forget like how you raw dogged me in that situation. I think that that's like Kino. Very Sigma male Chad of him to stick it to the man and say, F you guys, I'm gonna let my fans see the thing that they've been waiting like half their lives for, and I'm gonna do it at the cost of every game that you make. I think it's cool. I love that he's that passionate about it. And he'll stop at basically nothing in order to make it happen. Hamaguchi tweet, this year we plan to share more updates on Final Fantasy VII Remake Project than ever before. Hold on. Locking in. Let me see. Interesting. Okay, that's like the first one. I was like, why is he saying like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is officially on sale? I was like reading, that's his pin tweet. We've announced that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will launch on June 3rd with the addition of Switch 2 and Xbox. The game will be released as a oh fuck. Sorry. The game will be released as a full multi-platform title. This year we plan to share more updates on the Final Fantasy VII remake project than ever before. This basically confirms that part 3 is coming this, I mean, not coming this year, but being announced this year. Holy shit. Than ever before. Guys, more updates than ever. That's so fucking exciting. We look forward to celebrating together with more players around the world. Let's go, dude. Anything else from Hamaguchi? Is this like a big Japanese? Oh, they're gonna be playing a remake, and it's their first time playing. Oh, that's cool. Is this like a really big VTuber? Oh shit, that's a very big VTuber. It's a very I don't keep up with VTubers, so I don't know who's like big or not, but that's almost 1 million on YouTube. Jesus Christ, man. That's another thing too, is that like what was I gonna say? Japanese streamers, like holy crap, like the streaming community in Japan is like next level. And also too, like the follower to viewer ratio on Japanese streams is like way crazier. And what I mean by that is that like depending on your follower count, you kind of have like a higher percentage of viewers show up than I see like Western streamers have. And so it seems to me like Japanese audiences are like way more, I don't want to say loyal, but maybe engaged with their streamers than like here in the West. Basically, I'm trying to say, can you guys lock the fuck in? Can you guys be like that? No, I'm just playing. But it is something I noticed. Can you become Japanese? No, I cannot. I am learning it though, obviously, and the language, I mean, obviously, but yeah, I just recently got a tutor for the first time ever in my language journey, and I've been doing this for like 3.5 years. So hopefully she is going to be able to take me from being able to read and being able to understand to actually being able to speak coherent sentences. That's what I'm like really excited about. Because right now, the way I am with Japanese, again, I can read quite a bit. I can understand quite a bit when spoken. But my struggle comes with mostly just output, mostly just saying stuff. And part of it is not even that I don't know how to say it, but I just get nervous that I'm going to say it wrong. And I usually do say it wrong, but saying it wrong is kind of the first step to saying it right. So I watch a lot of Japanese VTuber streams, no idea what they're saying, but I enjoy their reactions to games I love. I've started watching a lot of Japanese like Final Fantasy channels. Let me show you guys this one, because I'm just gonna straight up say it. I'm so jealous of the viewership they get. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's insane. And it also shows how popular Final Fantasy still is in Japan, because this guy that I started watching recently, his name is Tetsuo, and the viewership he gets on his Final Fantasy videos is like compared to like those of us here in the West, even like the most viewed Final Fantasy channels, I don't think they come anywhere close to the viewership this guy gets. And I don't know if it's just because Final Fantasy is more popular in Japan, which I don't even know if that's necessarily true, because Final Fantasy games generally sell about as much in North America and Europe as they do in Japan, if not more nowadays. But if you look at like the viewership on these videos, like 1 million views, 300,000 views. This one on Final Fantasy VII, it's on Cloud's character, almost 1 million views. He did like a Rebirth playthrough, and all of them have like, I'm like, this like 600,000 views. Anyways, this is also a really good channel. If you watch this channel, you'll like immediately realize why it gets so much viewership. He's actually a really good Final Fantasy content creator, and he makes some really exceptional breakdowns, and he also does some Let's Plays and stuff like that. He's a really cool guy. His name is Tetsuo, and I can link his channel for you guys. I'll put it in YouTube chat. Oh, I don't know if, yeah. I don't know what, oh, yeah, generate like a weird ass long link. Oh, probably because the link doesn't like Japanese characters in it, so it generates that instead. But yeah, there's a link to his channel if you guys are practicing Japanese and you want to practice it with some Final Fantasy content. I do highly recommend this channel. It's very cool. And also everything that, if you ever watch a lot of Japanese YouTube, you'll know that they subtitle everything, which is awesome. So all the videos are subtitled, so you can read along too. And I think that YouTube auto translate may work on his videos. He may have that turned on so that you can watch it even if you don't know any Japanese and you just want to get some insight into how Japanese fans feel about things. You can definitely do that thanks to the translation of the video and thanks to translating the comments. Some Japanese viewers get VTubers get like 100 live viewers but get like a ton of super chats and member donos. The support is crazy. Yeah, dude, it's so different than in the West. Like it's like it's night and day different. Obviously, you know, very cool. I am not going to be streaming in Japanese anytime soon. So yeah, I just got to deal with you ungrateful Westerners. No, I'm just playing. But it is cool to see like how they support their creators there and the different relationships. So I think that's pretty awesome. Yeah, but yeah, it's way different. Way different. You can even see it on the views of the official FF14 JP Twitter account or 14 stuff in general. They get a lot more engagement than the Western one, yeah. But guys, this is also why I feel like that like Square not... Square trying to chase the Western dollar, I don't want to say it's like foolish or anything, because it's definitely not, because obviously there's a lot of money to be made in the West, and that's actually why Final Fantasy became as profitable as it is, because unlike Dragon Quest, you can also sell like Final Fantasy in the West. But at the same time, I think that them not focusing on... No, I do think it's foolish how aggressive they were chasing the West. Yeah, it's probably like more so like the compromise of the Japanese audience, and less so that they really just wanted to make the series popular in the West. I think wanting to continue to make the series popular in the West is a noble thing to do. It's the right thing to do, right? Like, make it popular all over the world. That's fine. But I think it has kind of come at the cost of the Japanese audience. And I think that hasn't been a good idea. Right? I think that, like, say, God damn it, how does this come up every fucking stream? I don't want to take it there, but here it is. I do think that, like, say with like Final Fantasy 16, like, that game probably did try to push a little too Western, maybe. And I think that probably shouldn't have pushed as far West as it did. And again, obviously, I'm a Western fan. I want people here in the West to enjoy and play these games. I want great, localization and those sorts of things. I'm not against, like, any type of, like, Western influence in the game, because Western influence is already in Final Fantasy and in most JRPGs, especially if you know, like, the lineage and history of JRPGs. There is just clear Western influence in most stuff, right? Like, but yeah, I think that they should really dial. I think that the pursuit of making the series popular in the West shouldn't come at the expense of their Japanese audience. Like, you have Persona P5 was so aggressively itself, just with a way higher production value, and lo and behold, it's responsible for half of the series' sales now. That's the thing. That's like how you actually make a series more popular. And we can look at this, like, throughout the course of gaming. More often than not, the thing that actually makes a series scale is production value. So if you make it look better and play better, and by all accounts, you try to make it as high of quality as possible, but at the core, it's still like the seemingly niche thing that it always was, then it comes off to people, especially people who've never interacted with that niche, it comes off to them as way more novel, right? Like, if you look at Persona on like a per mechanic basis, you can kind of make the argument that it's not that unique. I wouldn't really agree with that, but like, if you're like a JRPG snob, you can say, Persona's not even that unique, or Persona 5 specifically, right? But like, if you haven't like directly interacted with that series, if you're not like knee deep into JRPGs and you're just like the casual audience coming across it, you'll just see like the incredibly high production values, and you'll think that nothing else is like this on Earth. And to an extent, Clair Obscur like really succeeded on that too, right? To some like JRPG purists, they were like, oh, like Clair Obscur, like it doesn't do anything like particularly special compared to other JRPGs, sure, but the production values are out of this fucking world on Clair Obscur, right? And to an audience that doesn't normally interact with JRPGs or turn-based RPGs in particular, they're like, dude, this is like nothing I've came across. This is special and brand new. Holy shit. this is awesome. So for them, it's like a brand new novel thing, right? And I think that like a lot of people, when they focus in on Clair Obscur and they think like, oh my God, it's a brand new novel thing, even though like in a lot of ways it's not. And that's not to say that Clair Obscur is not unique in any way, because I actually disagree with people who minimize that game and try to say that like, oh, it's like it is literally just a generic JRPG with like Unreal Engine people instead of anime. I think that like the total package of Clair Obscur is unique in a lot of ways, but that's a different discussion. But ultimately, what I think a lot of people forget is that Final Fantasy used to occupy that space, and JRPG fans used to hate on Final Fantasy, you know, a decade and a half prior, because they were like, Final Fantasy doesn't do anything new or exceptional. It's just a JRPG with the highest budget, and people just like it because the graphics are good. Does that sound familiar? But that was like literally what Final Fantasy was to most JRPG fans way, way back, right? Like 15, 20 years back. That's how they looked at Final Fantasy. And so they would, you know, say like, hey, you should play something else, like, you know, play like a Xenogears or another JRPG, play Tales, they would say. And they'd say like, you know, Final Fantasy is mostly just popular because it's got the best graphics, but it's not even the best JRPG. Not the deepest on combat or progression systems, etc., etc. But it had the highest budget. It had the best production values. And so that is what like allowed it to get that general audience. So, yeah, I mean, is if you have the production values there, people can actually get into like a lot of stuff that they thought that they weren't into. It's just that like when they have to get past, and I know that it's very superficial, but like when they have to get past lower production quality, it's difficult for people. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but it's just like one of those things where like for some people it's just such a barrier if the production value isn't like out of this world AAA cinematic, etc. They just like they can't connect, or they can't get past that barrier and then get into it. I think once they get into it, they're fine. I think the reason that it's so confounding for JRPG fans whenever they look at something like E33, or how they looked at Persona 5, or how they looked at Final Fantasy back in the day, is because JRPG fans tend to be people who can already by default look past the need for higher end cinematic production value and just focus on the experience and the story and the game mechanics, right? And so for them, those things appear entirely unnecessary. And they kind of look at people who find those things to be necessary to be chimp-brained. I don't think that the like people who need those things are necessarily chimp-brained or anything like that. But like, I understand both perspectives is what I'm trying to say. But most people, a lot of people do not understand both perspectives of that. They're just like, I don't understand why you need it. And the people who need it, they're like, I fucking need it. I don't want to play that shitty crap. And, you know, I'm not here to say that either one of those is necessarily important, but I think that clearly a big mainstream audience, they do want those production values, and that is something that for them is really important. For us in chat right now, we don't really give a fuck, because we know that like some of those kind of crappy looking games are actually like some of the best experiences that we've ever had with the story or with the gameplay. And in some ways, we actually kind of admire like the lower production values, because we think about how crafty the developers were in order to get around the restrictions that they had. The fact that they couldn't present everything in ultra realistic 3D graphics, the fact that they can't use like motion capture to portray an actor's realistic emotions and expressions. And so they had to be really creative with like facial animations and how they'd animate the characters to produce those things. And we look at it like a handcrafted production rather than something that's just like suffering from a lack of budget. Yeah, we look at like reused assets and think, man, the developers are so clever. They made those assets important. They make everything they create with a sense of purpose. Yeah, solving problems with creativity rather than money. It's a great way of saying it. And yeah, we look at those things and we have admiration for it. But unfortunately, you know, a lot of the mainstream audience is not, they don't have that type of POV. That's unfortunate, but also kind of the reality of it. So it's especially cool to see when something on a AA budget still manages to make an open world that's on par with AAA contemporaries. Play Xenoblade X Definitive Edition. Yeah. And I mean, that's also what's cool about Clair Obscur, because while Clair Obscur is definitely not a fucking indie game and should not have been nominated for any indie game awards, I think that is bullshit and fucking dumb. It was a AA game and it was very budget effective, right? And it definitely made something that very much felt like a turn-based AAA Final Fantasy game, but wasn't in reality. So Xenoblade, Expedition 33, other games like that, the first Hellblade game. I think that the real delta, you know, is going to be just people developers making shorter games and making them more packed with stuff, I think is going to be the real way. Rebirth is $50 on the eShop. Holy shit, did I actually call it? Did I actually predict the price of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on Switch 2 accurately? That's crazy. Let me see. Let me see. Night Sky Prophet strikes again, guys. Let's go. Wait, I don't see it on the eShop. Well, I'm also on like the web version, so it may not even be up on there. Yeah, the web version doesn't have it. But $40 on... Wait, it's $40 on Xbox? Really? I can kind of understand if that is the case. If that is the case, then like it's probably because the Switch 2 version cost more to produce. And I imagine that it did. Because the Switch 2 version, the Switch 2 version probably took a lot more money to make than the Xbox, because the Xbox version is literally just a port. Like with the Xbox version, they probably had to do like literally nothing because it's already an Unreal Engine 4 game. So, I mean, pretty much all they had to do was switch over all the settings to Xbox and like recompile to Xbox. I know that's like a little bit of an oversimplification, but it honestly is not that much more difficult to port between PlayStation 5 and Xbox. They are two systems of roughly the same specification, and the game is already built on Unreal Engine 4, so it's already basically, you know, kind of ported 2 run on the system. So it's not like it's gonna be that crazy to do. That's interesting though. Very interesting. Yeah, it only shows me remake integrate right now. Sorry, I'm so congested. On my nose. But that's cool. $40 is a good price. But that being said, I think that they'll probably still do a triple pack with part 3. I wonder how much that'll cost. Because obviously part 3 will be $70, but then maybe they'll do the kind of situation like with part 3. 120? Nah. I feel like it'll be like even cheaper. Like you can buy part 3 and they'll just give you Remake and Rebirth for like dirt cheap. In fact, that's how I think it should be on PS5. So we think 7.3 news in June. Yeah, I would say June at the latest. $100. If I were them, I don't know about Switch 2, but I think for PS5, if I were them and you bought part 3, I would just give people Remake and Rebirth for free. Like I wouldn't even charge for it. I would just be like, you can literally just buy part 3 and get Remake and Rebirth for free. I would actually do that. Because they need to sell as many copies of Remake 3 as possible. And remember that Remake 3 has the bottleneck of Rebirth, right? So we're selling to all the people who completed part 1 and part 2. Come on, brother, they ain't doing that. If they were smart, they would do that. I'm telling you, I would literally just give people Remake and Rebirth. With part 3. I would just give it to them. Because they need to sell as many copies of part 3 as possible. Okay, so here's the thing, right? I could tell you, hey, you need to go buy Remake and you need to buy Rebirth. Remake, Rebirth, dual pack was priced the same as Rebirth, but only for pre-order. Yeah. That's how I think it should be again. I think you should get the triple pack for pre-order for free. Like, not for free, but obviously for $70. So Remake and Rebirth, you pre-order part 3, you get Remake and Rebirth for free. Maybe not the Switch 2 version, because that's brand new. And maybe not on Xbox, but like for PS5 and for PC, with those versions having been out for a while, bro, like you can recommend Re-Trilogy to people and you can just say, hey, just pre-order part 3. Just pre-order part 3. And you can get all 3 of them and you can get started. And you get part 1 and 2 to play until part 3 releases. And that's actually kind of like the benefit here, is that you can tell people to start with part 3 because they will get part 1 and 2. And they can literally play it while they're waiting for part 3 to release. So people can just see it and be like, okay, I'm going to purchase it. Yeah, because we all have 512 gigabyte storage for those 2 games off the key cards. They should hire you, Ryan, for marketing. They should. but they wouldn't listen to me. By the time my ideas got to the top, they would be so sanded down that they would not reflect what I thought of. So, but that being said, I think that they should just give Remake and Rebirth away for free on PS5 and PC for anyone who pre-orders Part 3. Ryan's too smart for Square Enix marketing. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, like I would just give it away. Like let's be honest, right? Like once the Switch 2 versions are out, everyone who's bought Remake and Rebirth, like that wants it, probably has already gotten it, right? But if we can get people on Part 3, I think that you can get them to buy those. Like you can get them to buy Part 3, basically. If you're someone who skipped Rebirth, for example, and you played Remake, but maybe you're thinking about coming back for Part 3, you don't even have to buy Part 2. You can just buy Part 3 and you can get Part 2. So I think that's like the smartest thing that they can possibly do. Important question. What would young NSP say to the NSP that interviewed Sakaguchi? I think that he would be blown away. I think he would think that that was the coolest thing in the fucking world. I like never in a million years ever thought I would be able to interview Hironobu Sakaguchi, like be able to like speak to him. The fact that that happened is still mind-blowing to me. I still cannot believe I got like to speak to him. Like that's still super crazy to me. I think that now that I've done that, I also got to meet Yoshi P in person. That was also really cool. I think the developer now that I most want to interview, and I think this will never fucking happen, by the way, but Nomura. I really want to speak to Nomura more than anyone. Like Hamaguchi also too. I'd love to speak to him, but like if you're asking like young childhood NSP, like who he would most want to speak to, I think it'd be Nomura. I'd like to speak to Kitase too, for sure. Kitase, Hamaguchi, I'd love to speak to them. But Nomura is kind of like the holy grail, I feel. And part of the reason I feel that way, obviously, you know, his impressive body of work, his incredible influence over my life and over the lives of so many people, but I feel like the fact that he is so private and so secretive makes him kind of elusive and mysterious and interesting. He's so inaccessible that he has to be the choice. Yeah. Exactly, right? Like he's such an enigma that it makes him more fascinating to me than anyone else, because it's just like, what is his aura like? Like, what is his presence like? And also, he just doesn't do that many interviews, right? Like, how many times do you actually see the headline, like, interview with Nomura, right? Like, I feel like it's so rare. It's so rare to have contact with him that, yeah, it just makes it so cool. Next time, would you interview Nobuo Uematsu? I would love to interview Uematsu. The only problem with me interviewing Uematsu is that I feel like I would need someone to help me with the questions, because I wouldn't know what to say, because I'm not musically inclined. So I wouldn't know how to ask him anything profound. I wouldn't know what to say other than to like just basically glaze him the whole interview. That would like literally be it. I wouldn't know how to like ask him really smart questions about his body of work. Akira Toriyama was the same, very little interviews. When I was younger, and I don't even mean like significantly younger, I mean like 5 years ago. I say it like it's 50. But like, back in like at an earlier point in like being like a Final Fantasy fan, I'm not being a Final Fan or being a creator, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I would be like, oh man, I hate that Nomura is not like more in touch with his audience in terms of like having like a social media presence and interacting with friends and being able to get on a stream like in the way that Naoki Yoshida or like Hamaguchi will do and take all these interviews. But I think as I've gotten older, and especially being a content creator myself, I completely get it. I not only significantly more respect the way he approaches things, I almost kind of admire it. I admire that Nomura values his privacy and his sanity over just fucking marketing promotion and stuff like that. And he shows up and he answers questions for his fans with his disembodied voice. But he won't show up. And I used to be like, why won't he show up? Why won't he show his face? Like, what is wrong with just like showing up and like letting your fans see your face? But I actually realize now, obviously, just purely the result of being a content creator, how fucking insane fans are and how fucking insane some of the haters can be and how crazy these people are. And everything you make is like goes through this filter nowadays. And also too, it gets even worse when like if you're a creative of any type, there is like all types of political divisiveness that also happens. Like you're either with us or against us type mentalities that people have. And I feel like being a creator of any type of artist or any type of content creator or any type of game developer or filmmaker, like whatever you do, if you create something and you put yourself out there, it has never been a fucking worse time. It's never been a better time either. Like, like it's also kind of a high point too, because you can put stuff out for cheaper and easier than you ever could in like, basically the history of humanity. But unfortunately, what that comes with is an insane level of judgment and divisiveness and bitterness and people saying insane things about you and making insane assumptions about you. And, somebody with, insert character PFP is like harassing you and, oh, you didn't make the thing that they wanted happen in the story. And Yoko Taro wears that mask. He found a way to keep his privacy and be public. I respect that so much, actually. NSP be like, I love the color blue. Internet, so you're actually saying you hate the color red. Bro, yes. Like this happened like just recently, like when I said, I had made a tweet and I said that like Rebirth has like the best action system. And if we're going to continue Final Fantasy action, it really needs to be this. And then people in the comments were basically like, they were basically saying like, oh, so you hate turn-based. And I was like, no, what the fuck? Like, I was like saying that like, if we have to stay with action, it should definitely look more like Rebirth combat and not like anything else, not like 15 or 16. But somehow, like, turn-based stands took that as me saying I don't support turn-based for FF. And I'm like, dude, I'm like one of the only major creators that has like really put out there like, hey, like turn-based is not a bad idea for them to go back to. Where did that come from? I have no fucking idea. Because I literally said in the I just deleted it because I was like, whatever. And I delete tweets like all the time, by the way. So if you ever go back and look for something I said, it's not gonna be there. Because I just delete. Because anytime like people start like, anytime I start seeing people being like a little bitch, I'm just like, what's the best thing for my mental sanity right now? I think it's to delete this. And so I just delete it. And I just don't care. Cause like once like everyone who I care about on there, all my mutuals, all the people who follow me, once they've seen what I said, then there's no point of keeping it up anymore if like people are just gonna say that. I really don't care to strain my sanity more than I need to, because people on there just read everything in such bad faith. Anything you say on Twitter about 7 Hours Combat is always met with at least one person trying to come for your dirtiness is insane. Well, like I think that like some of it is just people that don't really understand the system, and so it comes across as a grind to them. Like when people say that like the enemies have too much HP, that's like not true at all. Like they're like, oh, you don't do any damage until you stagger the enemy, and then it takes like a really long time to do the fights. But that's actually really not true. You can actually like melt enemies insanely fast whenever you're playing the Re-Trilogy games optimally. Like you can melt enemies and like it can make your head spin like how fast you can melt enemies in that game when you're playing optimally. So it actually kind of reveals when people talk about some of the fights in the game as being like grindy and such like that. I'm like, what you're really saying is that you actually don't understand how the combat system works. And and I get it, because you can probably squeeze through that game not really getting it, but you're not having a good time when you don't get it. Most ATB abilities in Magic deal insane damage. Petrified Materia plus all Materia, or whatever Rebirth calls it, borders on limit break damage. Yeah, you can melt enemies so fast, it doesn't even make sense. So when people are like, the stagger bar is bad, listen, all the stagger bar is just like, it's like posture in Sekiro, right? That's the way I look at it. Like, it's just like posture in Sekiro or anything, or any other type of like thing like that. So I'm not anti-stagger. I think the only time stagger wasn't particularly the best was actually in the first 13 game. That's my least favorite stagger bar, I think. But I think it's been okay in every other version after. I think the Re-Trilogy stagger is probably my favorite stagger mechanic. Sekiro shout out. Always knew you were goated. Dude, Sekiro is probably like my favorite action game. I think that's like probably my number one action game of all time. I fucking love Sekiro. In fact, like everyone's like less Souls likes. I half agree, but it's only because I want more Sekiro likes, which is why I'm excited for Beast of Reincarnation, and also why I love Stellar Blade so much, is because Stellar Blade is also like really Sekiro adjacent. In fact, I would call Stellar Blade a Sekiro like for sure, actually. folks try to button mash systems, not going to work all the time. It's actually really weird that people were saying that Re-Trilogy games are button mashers, because I mean, like, I was just kind of like blown away by that, because I'm like, the Re-Trilogy games are actually quite possibly the least button mashy action games like out there, period. I was like, I can't even name like a less button mashy action game off of the top of my head than like Re-Trilogy games. Oh, we talking about stagger bars. I don't care if you noticed during your time in Tits, but Trails have stagger bars. Yeah, Trails has stagger bars. And you know what else has stagger bars other than Trails? Expedition 33 has a stagger bar. Which is what also makes it funny, because the same people that are saying that they hate that mechanic are usually Expedition 33 type fans, type I don't want to say all of them, but usually they're the type that are like very aggressive about FF going back to turn-based. And I'm like, E33 is also a stagger game. Like, it is also a game where the stagger bar is very important to doing an optimal amount of damage. And so, well, yeah, all games are derivative of E33. True. So, like, yeah. Stagger bar is undoubtedly the biggest impact 13 had on gaming. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like, yeah, like Re-Trilogy games though, like the fact that people like, and people, it was a couple of people on Twitter, but like, if anyone says that those games are button mashy, as some people did on the thread from the other day, I'm just like, I was blown away by that, because again, they're maybe the least button mashy action games that I can possibly even think. And I'm not even saying, because I don't even like the argument button mashing, because I'm like, what does that even mean to a large extent? I guess I'm just using it here because they're saying it, and also let's just take the button mashy idea as generally like you can kind of mash in like however you want to, and kill the enemy. Even though that's not necessarily true, I feel like that's kind of like minimizing. It's kind of minimizing what hack and slash games and character action games are like, and the actual effort that goes into actually stringing together combos. But let's just take the idea of button mashing at its surface level for the sake of argument with these people. You literally can't button mash in these games. Like, it literally does not work on anything other than like Shinra grunts. Pretty much anything else. Like, if you aren't effectively targeting enemy weaknesses, then the game actively becomes very unenjoyable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do it. Like, it becomes super grindy, and enemies take a really long time. Re-Trilogy, maybe more than like I would say most action games, forces you to use its mechanics, or it just won't let you win at all. Like there is no like, oh, I'm just gonna cheese all the mechanics in Re-Trilogy, especially on hard mode. Like it's just not a thing. Like, there's like very minimal cheese. In fact, I feel like a lot of Souls games have more cheese in them for boss fights than Re-Trilogy games do on hard mode. Like, a lot of a lot of Souls games have stuff that you can do in boss fights that will just like you can do, and there's like a cheese build that you can do for a boss fight, or there's a cheese strat. I feel like for most re-trilogy fights, like it actually does force you to use the mechanics. Like there's just no, oh, did I just peek? Sorry. Let me actually turn this down. My volume may be too high now. Did you like the dynamic mode in FF7 Rebirth, or does that feel too much like FF8? No, I actually really liked it. I think that dynamic mode works on Rebirth because Rebirth is an action game. I think in a turn-based game, something like dynamic sucks because one of the points of a turn-based game is for you to go back and feel like a god, right? Like for you to feel that you've made that progress. But with an action game, you kind of want enemies to continue to be challenging and hard to do. So that's why FF8's idea ended up working in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but ironically didn't work well in FF8 because of the genre shift. Like in FF8, like in a turn-based game, you're like, what the fuck, dude? I want to feel like a god. Like I want to feel like I can melt through everything because I've leveled up. And also, yeah, it works because it's optional. So if you don't like that idea, then you can turn it off. But yeah. Yeah, dynamic mode is really good. It's just like, it is like a perfect curve. Dynamic mode is a mode in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth that essentially scales enemy difficulty to the current level that you're at. So you can't basically grind so hard or do so much content that you become OP, like too OP, because it'll scale enemies to your level constantly. So they're always basically somewhat of a threat to you. You aren't swagging on them until you play through 2 or beyond. Sekiro is the exception because the combat is by its nature is stylish. That's what I like about Sekiro, is that I think Sekiro is kind of the handshake between like a character action game and a Souls game, in the way that it is like, it has like that brutally punishing type of Souls mentality to it, where you have to get good, but you can also do like really sick stylish stuff in Sekiro too, and you can be like really creative. I think that's why it's like my favorite action game, is because it's like like it's brutal, but then it's also just like it's sick as fuck, and there's this mastery to it, and you can be super creative, and everyone approaches bosses so differently. Kingdom Hearts needs to bring back text from KH1. I'll die on that hill. No, you're completely right. Dynamic also never scales below normal. Yeah. Okay. I think this is a good place to end the stream for today, guys. I have to go help my friend move. So I'm going to be getting 2 workouts. I have to help her move, and then I have to do a leg workout. I have to do leg day. So my ass is going to be fucking beat today. But I love you guys so much. It was a good Nintendo Direct. I'll be talking more about Rebirth on Switch 2, and we're going to be getting more FF7R news this year, more than ever, according to Hamaguchi. I feel bad for Kingdom Hearts 4 fans. Okay. Love you guys. I'll see you all soon. Later, people.